It is 10:30, District Court, Washington, D.C. General Michael Flynn is inside. You saw the video a moment ago. Jonathan Turley, lawyer, constitutional expert, we shall say. Sir, good morning to you, and welcome to our ongoing coverage here at George Washington University, constitutional law professor, and on your resume runs. Big picture, what can you say about this now?
Well, this is obviously a significant development, but it's not an unexpected development. General Flynn was viewed as the most at risk of the top figures in the Trump administration due to his work as a foreign agent and a series of statements that were viewed as untrue. People in Washington in these scandals tend to get nailed not for the underlying crimes or scandals, but how they respond to it. And this is a prototypical example. Now, the White House does have a positive spin here because this is really about Flynn's conduct in relation to the FBI. It doesn't establish on its face necessarily that there was collusion. It is a plea to a false statement made to FBI investigators. Moreover, the White House made clear that Flynn was shown the door because he misrepresented the meeting with Vice President Pence. So all of that gives them some insulation. So when you look at these indictments from a criminal defense standpoint, as bad as it is to have someone like Flynn plead guilty, it can also produce a sense of relief, depending on what the indictment says. In the case of Paul Manafort, his indictment was significantly removed from the Trump campaign or the White House. We'll have to wait to see if this is another example of that.
Think about the time frame here, Professor. The conversations happen in late December. The inauguration's on January 20th. The interview with the FBI is 4 days later. By the 13th of February, General Flynn resigns his position as NSA in the West Wing of the White House. That is lightning speed. He served less than 24 days in that job.
Yeah, that's true. And in some ways, that works to the advantage of the White House. He was not only a short-termer, but he was shown the door by the Trump administration for this reason. So they can certainly cite to that. But there's also aspects that they're going to have to deal with. We don't know if part of this plea agreement involves deliverables, whether Flynn was able to knock down a number of counts in return for giving information against other people, whether it's President Trump or Adam Kushner. We simply don't know. It's rare for prosecutors to give a good deal to a matinee defendant like Flynn without getting deliverables. I mean, there's no angle in it for them unless the case was difficult to prove. In Flynn's case, it doesn't seem like it would have been difficult to prove.
Help us understand. I was mentioning the timeline here because of the speed by which he was in and then he was out. It's the 1st of December 2017 right now. So you're 11, almost 12 months removed from the incidents that I described a moment ago. If you had something, if you're Robert Mueller, would you know it by now?
Well, I think you would. I mean, we don't know when Flynn started to cooperate, but there's a good indication that it was relatively recently when he broke away from the joint defense agreement with Trump figures. But having said that, a great deal seems to be known about these meetings. And so we have to sort of step back a bit and ask, how serious is this beyond Flynn himself? It's obviously sad and quite serious for him. But we still haven't seen any direct evidence of a crime that could somehow be related to collusion with the Russians. Now, that's why all of us want to see some of the details here. It is possible to reach a plea agreement without cooperation. It is possible to reach a plea agreement without giving much information. If your lawyers were able to show the prosecutors that they have a weak case on the other counts. My problem is it doesn't seem like a weak case to me. I mean, he had a lot of baggage here that could have been charged. So we're all going to be looking at what cooperation might be disclosed and whether Flynn is implicating someone else.